Hello to all viewers of the YouTube channel Electrician 1. In today's video clip we will measure frequency with multimeter. In order to measure frequency, we will prepare the universal measuring instrument in the same way as when we had measured voltage and resistance. Therefore, we will connect the black measuring cable to the COM port, and the red one to the port right next to it. Here we notice the Hz symbol, i.e. Hertz, which is also the basic unit for measuring frequency. After that, we will place our selection knob in the position marked with the frequency symbol, i.e. one measurement range of 20 kHz. Now we will turn on our universal measuring instrument. We will measure the frequency that prevails in our socket, that is, the frequency of our alternating mains voltage, in the same way as when we had measured our alternating voltage. We know that the frequency of the alternating voltage of our distribution network is 50 Hz, we are expecting this value. We can see the value of 0.05 on the display. When 20 kHz appears below, that is exactly the 50 Hz that prevails in our distribution network. Here we have a device called a transformer, and its role is to reduce the primary voltage, in this case the voltage between phase and zero, of 230 volts, to the voltage values that we can read here. Therefore, its purpose is to reduce voltages at 5 volts, 22 volts, and 110 volts. It should be known that even after the transformation, the voltage remains alternating, so that the frequency remains the same as on the primary voltage. We will now determine that by measuring the frequency of our alternating voltage is 50 Hz regardless of the intensity of the voltage. Here we can read the value of 50 Hz on the primary voltage, and we are measuring the frequency on the secondary one, also 50 Hz. We can notice that at some other voltage levels the value is 50 Hz. And the next voltage level also shows 50 Hz. Here, on the secondary voltage level of our transformer, we connected a small rectifier, a Greco connection, and a capacitor that has the purpose of converting this primary or input AC voltage into a DC voltage. Now we will measure the frequency of DC voltage and see what the value is. Pay attention to the multimeter. Here, the multimeter shows 0, and that is the correct value. We know theoretically that direct current has no frequency, i.e., it is not a periodically changing quantity, so its frequency is 0. Now we will take another instrument, which measures the frequency more precisely, and see what values it will show. With this instrument, we will connect the measuring cables in the following way. The black measuring cable is also always connected to the COM port, and the red measuring cable of this instrument can be connected to one of these three ports. If we put it in the red port, marked with V3, then we have to set the selection knob to the position marked with number 3. We select the desired sizes that we want to measure with one of these buttons. In this case we want to measure frequency, i.e. what is measured by default. In the lower part of the display, we can see the frequency, and in the upper part of the display, the voltage. So we can immediately start with the measurements and see that we will measure the voltage and frequency values at the same time. We again measure the input or the primary of our transformer. And on the display we notice voltage of 238 volts and the frequency of the same voltage is exactly 50 Hz. Here, the precision of the frequency reading is 1 decimal place. This is an excellent frequency value in our distribution network. We are measuring at a secondary voltage level of 5 volts, which means 3 volts and a frequency of 49.9 Hz or 50 Hz. Let's go to some other voltage level. We read the value of 25 volts, and frequency is again 50 Hz. The next voltage level is 125 volts, and frequency again is 50 Hz. We will also try this measuring instrument, the multimeter, to measure the frequency of DC voltage. Here the frequency is 0, as we saw a while ago and we know theoretically. Thanks for watching this video. Please share it with your friends and invite them to subscribe to the YouTube channel Electrician 1. Kind regards until the next video.